How you doing, Bob?
Good. How you guys doing?
Excellent.
Yeah. You in your studio?
Sorry I'm late. I didn't get the text.
That was weird because Joe and I got your text saying, are we going to do it tonight? And then I responded to you.
I never got a response.
So that's weird.
Something it is weird. Whatever. Technology.
Yeah.
How's everybody?
Doing good.
Good.
Cool.
Yeah.
This hasn't happened.
Been a long time.
50 years for this.
Yep.
God damn, a long time.
Do the Brady Bunch thing.
Exactly. Oh, man. Wow.
Well, I think we're all in, if you have grid view, we're probably all at a different area on the screens because to me, Bob is below me. Oh, what does it matter?
All right. Now I'm looking at Wally.
Hey, I've never been below you, God damn it.
That's
now I'm looking at Jim.
So yeah, I thought we'd start this conversation off with how we got to where we got together. Give a little history lesson here, and because back in what was it, 1964, I started playing trumpet in E.H. Phillips Elementary School, and then I guess that was till 6th grade, and then 7th grade we went to Central Dauphin East Junior High, and I was in the marching band with Bob, right, Bob?
Yeah, marching band.
That's how Bob and I got to know each other. And what year was it, Bob, that you approached me about getting into the Penman?
Well, let's see. We had the Penman, then we had the Dynasty, and then that morphed into Shanghai. And Shanghai started in '69. And I'm guessing each of those previous bands couldn't have lasted more than a year. So 68, 67.
Yeah.
So probably 66 or 67 is when we first started the first thing up.
That'd be 7th and 8th grade for us. And
that's about right. Yeah. And then Joe got involved with us in the Dynasty.
Yeah, I started on banjo. I don't know if you guys knew that, but when I was like 11, I started on tenor banjo lessons. I had no idea I was going to be a guitar player.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where the tenor guitar came from, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wally, how do you make this cassette? Oh, okay. If you're going to stick it in a cassette box, it has to be vertical. I'm trying to do Wally. I'm sick of holding the pen.
What are you playing?
Jim looks like he's asleep.
I'm watching Joe do whatever he's doing.
Yeah. All right. So, when did you start playing guitar?
I had that tenor guitar special ordered. It took about 6 to 8 months to come in.
Wow.
And then I played it for a while, and I didn't really like the way it sounded compared to a regular guitar. It sounded kind of thin, and I couldn't play power chords on it. So I just made do with it for a while, and then finally I said, screw it, I want to try and learn the guitar because you really couldn't play a lot of the things I wanted to play on a tenor guitar. And you could approximate it, but you couldn't make it sound right.
Right.
So eventually, I forget when I made the transition, but I did it. I had the dexterity and everything. All I had to do was learn it.
I remember that it was sometime not in the Dynasty, but in Shanghai when you made it, because I remember playing gigs with Shanghai and you were still doing tenor guitar, and because I remember people commenting how you were getting those Jimmy Page solos for Zeppelin tunes down on a 4-string guitar. I remember you were getting high compliments for that.
Cool.
So
was that an Epiphone?
Like I said, you could approximate it. Yeah, it was an Epiphone Wilshire. My brother had the exact duplicate guitar, same color and everything, but he had the 6-string version. And the Epiphone Wilshire, when they were still made in the United States, I had that made, it was a division of Gibson at the time.
Wow.
Hey, do you guys have somebody else in there?
Yeah, who just joined us?
That sucker came in. I mean, I was I actually wrote that factory letters begging them to make it quicker
Oh, okay.
because I was really hurting. I want to show you guys something. Give me a second.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Jack,
That's
your turn your microphone on. We don't have a microphone on you. Look for the microphone, turn it on.
Jack, there's a mute button for audio. You have to unmute it. He may have his audio muted. He may not even hear us. Jack, do you hear us? Nod your head.
I got it.
There we go.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Smut in the house.
Can you see this book?
Yeah, I can see it. Yep, I can see everybody.
See what it says?
Oh, yeah. American guitars.
Are you familiar with Gruen guitars? I
Yeah.
think they're in Nashville.
Yeah.
I think this was put out by them. Tom Wheeler. In this book, I sold my Epiphone to this guy, and he put it in this rare guitar book. And
Wow.
I'm going to show you the
Wow.
picture.
The tenor guitar, the original tenor guitar? Oh,
Here's-
cool.
Here's the picture I took of it before
Wow.
I got rid of it.
Check that
It's
out.
black and white. You see this one here with the tag hanging on it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Huh?
mine. It's in this rare guitar book.
Yep.
Wow.
Lift it up a little higher. We're seeing the top.
Higher,
way.
higher, higher.
A little higher.
Okay, I got you.
Yep. There we go. That's it. Now we're seeing it. Cool. I remember that.
Nice picture.
I still had the factory tags and everything that came with it.
Wow.
Wow. So Jim,
Book with all these other rare guitars.
And then we
when
bought
did-
Joe. Then we bought Joe a white Strat at Manny's.
I remember that. Did we
I
all go on
remember
that?
I had a Sunburst one too when we went up with Dan Hartman to New York and got the Sunburst one, but the neck was screwy on it. I could never get the neck right. I should have just got another neck because they were bolt-on necks, but I didn't. I was smart enough to think of that, so I just ended up getting a whole nother guitar. But the
And it was-
Sunburst was okay.
And that was the white one.
No, I had a Sunburst before the white one, I think.
Right. I thought it was the white one you bought at Manny's when we went up with Dan Hartman.
Yeah.
No, I got the white one at Troops.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
special ordered it at Troops on Market Square. Remember when it used to be on Market Square?
Yep.
Troops Instruments. They used to sell everything there, band equipment.
Oh, yeah.
I remember vividly ordering that in Olympic white from them. And before that, I had a Sunburst, but I forget. I had so many guitars, I forget why I sold them or where I sold them to. But I went through a lot of them.
Yeah, between Troops Music and Clock's drum store down in High Spire, that's where I did all my shopping back in those days, except for the trips to New York occasionally.
Yep. I bought my Trainer amp up there, and I never did like it either.
Yeah, that was kind of a puff piece.
But it was, the price was right. I should have just spent a little more and got the real deal.
Jim got the real deal. Jim got the Marshalls.
Oh, I played through his once at the Lodge, and I loved it. Those cabinets had a remarkable sound. Whatever speakers were in those cabinets, I remember they had 100 or bass written on the corner.
So here's something for Jim specifically. I dug out an old, some time ago, and I still have it somewhere, an old, the first business card, because instead of Shanghai, it still says Shanghai Noodle Factory on it.
Right.
And it's got Shanghai, and it's got 4 names, but it's Ray, Bob, Joe, and Mark. Did Mark?
That was transitional right from the Dynasty.
Yeah. Did Mark Zimmerman? Was he's in the band briefly
He
before
was almost in the band, but I think he just dropped out because he didn't want to join it. He didn't like the direction it was going in or something.
Yeah, I don't even remember that even happening.
And then you guys found me at Reservoir Park because I was playing in a band, a 3-piece band with Roger Sitz.
Oh yeah, that name sounds familiar.
I would play Sundays, and we were three-piece band, so we played a lot of Cream and Doors and a lot of stuff like that. And that's where you guys, that one Sunday, you came up to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for a bass player." That was the days of my old Kalamazoo.
Oh yeah, the red one. I remember that.
I had the Kalamazoo with the little marble bag on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Jim,
Yep.
you know my most vivid memory of you is remember Wendy Spawnhauer's that little pavilion she had in her backyard?
It was
Yeah,
a garage, yeah.
An alley behind her house. And one of the first times I remember seeing you in that hearse, you pulled up in that alley in that hearse with that bowler hat on. And I thought, man, this guy looks like the crypt keeper. You're spooky looking. And I thought, well, he's cool. He's good looking. He's good. The weirder the better in those days, you know?
Yeah.
my grandfather bought that hearse.
I remember you telling us about that.
800 bucks from the Wellington Bus Factory up in
Yeah.
It was up above Wormleysburg, up on the west side of the river.
Right.
Hey, I'm going to get his tool. Hold on.
He bought it and gave it to you?
Yes.
And then
Well, I
you-
told him I talked to my mom about buying a vehicle, and I wanted something to haul the band equipment in. And I said I found a hearse, and so we got in the old 52 DeSoto and drove up there, and he paid cash.
Wow.
And then we used to load all the band equipment in it and drive all over Hell's Half Acre.
Oh, it was easy to do. It had all those rollers on the floor.
Hell yeah.
That was great. And you sold that to Joe Abadanza?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I remember that when your grandfather was really sick and on his deathbed,
Oh yeah, he was in the coma in the living room.
he insisted on being taken to the cemetery in your hearse. I remember you
Yeah.
telling me that.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us do that though.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
figured it was probably a package deal with a.
But we were his pallbearers.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Paul Bear. Yep.
Yeah, we were his pallbearers.
Yep. Hey, here's an interesting question. What happened? How did it ever come to be that very brief period of time where that guy? Oh shit! What the fuck's his name now?
Campbell.
Campbell.
Yep.
He just showed up one day in Jim's garage with his B3 and Leslie, and just like nobody invited him, he just showed up and he sort of became part of the band for like a minute, and then he just disappeared and left.
That was,
Yeah.
I think that was the same time that Kerry made that video, of us sitting on the hearse with his
Yep.
8mm camera.
I just watched that the other day.
Yeah. That's spooky shit, man.
Yeah, I remember him being in the garage.
Yeah, there's tape of that
Yeah.
a rehearsal in the garage. As we were
Yeah.
doing Grand Funk Railroad tune,
Yep.
Closer to Your Home, and and parts of Tommy as well. We were still doing the Tommy medley.
But Kerry just overdubbed, or whoever did it overdubbed whatever song they could think of to go along with it.
Yeah, because his cameras weren't sound cameras.
Yeah, just
Yeah, right.
black. I think it was black and white too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has rolls and rolls and rolls of video. If you ever go see him, he's got all that stuff from back in the day, and people that you would forget, but he has them all.
I
You
bet.
remember how many friends Kerry had,
Yeah.
and he videoed them or he made movies of a lot of those people.
Yes, he did.
And speaking of the hearse and transportation, there was the hearse and there was your van that you had, Wally. But the very first one was that old piece of crap gray station wagon that Kerry Adams had, and he took us to our gigs in that everything fit in that little fucking station wagon, and all of us in it as well.
Wow.
He actually,
Hey, trivia! I got some trivia.
All right.
I was watching Wayne's World last night, and guess what was in the stack beside the Marshalls in the back line behind them?
Big nose.
I don't know.
Your Vocal Master Towers.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I had to pause it and rewind it. there's two Shure Vocal Master towers that sit next to that one guy's Marshall stack.
Well, you don't see them too often anymore.
So Jim, did you play in any other bands before the meeting at the band show?
Oh yeah, I used to play with. I actually played in a band with Danny Stoner and Bob Beard.
Oh, wow.
Danny Stoner, wow.
We played in some soul band. We were, oh fuck, I had to be 15, and it was Bob Beard was singing. Danny played sax. I played bass. I had an old Silvertone bass that kind of came out of the case.
Oh, yeah.
And I forget what kind of amp I had, and I don't remember any of the other players in the band other than Bob and Danny.
Wow.
And because I give Danny shit all the time about it. And but yeah, I played in that soul band, and then I got into I played in a band with a bunch of college guys, which that was kind of interesting because they were way, way, way older than me. And then I played at the Reservoir with Roger, and I can't remember the name of the drummer, but that's when you guys approached me about playing in Shanghai.
Cool. Yeah.
So Jack, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah. When did you get first involved with the band?
I don't remember the year exactly. It was right before Danny left.
So you were involved in carrying the piano occasionally.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
That was when Frank transitioned. So.
Yeah, that was kind of necessary.
Who's that? Jack Smith.
Yeah.
It's smut.
It's smart.
Buying electric piano, really?
I'm not seeing this picture.
Those were the days, man. Those were the days.
Yeah.
I remember Coberly drinking the bong water at Frank's house. You guys remember?
Yep.
And it was like tar.
I
It
bet.
was like,
I remember that.
if I would have drank it, I would have thrown up on the first sip, and he drank the whole bong. It was like motor oil.
It was Taylor port wine, actually.
Yeah, that's what was put in the bong on Mondays, and then you guys would fight over who got to drink it on Sunday or Saturday morning, Sunday morning.
And it was always a trip. We'd come back from a gig, we'd go to Frank's house, and we'd be way into partying. And hours later, the road crew would come in, and they were just ready to get started. That was like a weekly thing, man. They were fun days.
Remember all the freaking cats Frank had?
Oh, he still has them.
He still has.
I mean,
cats.
he had I remember he had 6 cats. I think they were all pregnant. They all had kittens. There was like hordes of 20 of them. And it took him I forget how many days. And you could just walk into Frank's house.
Oh, yeah.
And I walked in one day and walked through the dining room. And as I got in the kitchen, I hear this unbelievable yell from the second floor, a no, not knowing what it is. And I opened up the back door to the deck. And it's where all the 25 little kittens were. And of course, they just charged into the freaking house. And
Well,
Frank and Marla were like, oh, shit.
You know who's responsible for that, don't you?
Who's that?
When I moved to Allentown in '74, we gave him 2 cats, and that was the start
Two.
of the whole thing.
Wow.
And it's still there.
And they're still there. He's got a ferret running around in there now.
Oh my God.
Surprising.
One time I went there, and all the little kittens had so many fleas that
Yes.
there was literally hundreds of them on every cat. And he was dousing them with this garden stuff called Seven Dust. He would hold them up like this and just pat them like he was taking a breaded pork chop, throw it down, grab another one. That guy's
No wonder the cats had 3 eyes.
My God.
Oh,
Wow.
boy.
Nobody liked
I
Frank.
mean, they were covered in fleas. If you had fleas that bad, most people would have to have their houses bombed.
Yeah.
But I
So,
don't know
Bo-
how he gets away with all that.
So Bob, you're kind of the historian here with Mr. Accuracy on dates and times and stuff. When was Shanghai's first gig?
When?
Yeah,
was the-
when was it?
August. I'd have to look. I was going to get my box out and have all my shit here, and then I didn't get the text. And I didn't think it was happening, so I don't have
That
it.
was Rusty Owens.
But it was. Wait a minute. I can tell you in a minute.
Okay, Bob, did you get it?
Yep, I got it. Very first gig. Played our first show. It was August 23rd, 1969. It was that private party in Gettysburg.
In Gettysburg. It's
It was
some
a birthday
teachers-
party for somebody.
Why
Was
does
it a
Mama
teacher's
Galusha
house?
ring a bell?
What's that?
Someone named Mama Galusha.
I still didn't hear you.
Mama Galusha. That name is what I remember.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a name for the client. I just remember it was a private party. I remember how we got our name and it was because of this gig. We were rehearsing in my basement, and our old band that we had, the Dynasty, we used to get some dates from that booking agency, Penn World Attractions.
Yeah.
There was an agent there. I can't remember his name, but it was a woman. That's right. I don't remember her name. She called while we were in the middle of rehearsal, and she said, I got a date for you guys for the Dynasty. And I said, oh, well, the Dynasty broke up. I said, we're actually rehearsing a brand new band now. And she said, well, when will you be ready? And I said, I don't know. When's the date? And she gave us the date. It was a couple of weeks in advance. I said, yeah, we'll be ready for that. And she said, what's the name of the band? And I said, I don't know. Hold on. I covered the phone and I talked to you guys. I said, guys, we got a gig, but we need a name for the band. We don't have a name for the band. And we were working on that song, Shanghai Noodle Factory, at that time. And so somebody said, I don't remember who or how, but we decided, well, let's just call the band Shanghai Noodle Factory. And I gave it to the agent, and she booked this gig, and there, the rest is history, as they say. But it was August 23rd, 1969. It was in Gettysburg, and Kerry Adams took us all in his ugly gray station wagon down to the gig. And we almost got fired because I was caught making out with one guy's daughter on a break in the bushes. But somehow we
Every
managed to
gig.
get through it.
There was somebody.
There was always somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first gig.
Hope Lynn's not listening.
So
Hope who's not listening?
You got to keep cool.
Oh, okay.
oh.
That's why I have these headphones on.
That's ancient history, Joe. It's ancient history. You can't be held responsible for shit that happened in the 60s and early
That's
70s.
Yep.
So I'm wondering, what was your favorite place to play? Let's do it from Jim. Jim, what was your favorite place to play?
They were all good. I thought the Lodge was kind of cool. That was always a fun place. A lot of the gigs were fun.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the frat parties were pretty cool because some of those frat houses that we played a bunch of them.
Lehigh, Lafayette,
Yeah, Bucknell.
Muhlenberg. Yeah. Remember playing like in the third sub basement at Lehigh University, carrying all the equipment down this narrow stairwell,
Yeah, we used to go to Morgantown, West Virginia.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah, I remember that.
What was that? Wesleyan University.
Yeah.
That's what that was. Wesleyan.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
You'd stop at those stores in the mountains, and then people had no clue. Remember, I walked into one of those mountain stores with one of those portable handheld cassette players, and that woman had no clue what it was.
Get the gun.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. They were
long-haired hippie types.
God.
Yep. Bunch of freaking hillbillies.
When we went there, it was nice. We got up into the mountains. Didn't it start to snow? Wasn't it snowing up on top of those mountains?
Yeah, that I don't remember.
I remember going up a windy mountain road that was so windy I didn't think the van was going to make it to the top. with those steep cliffs right next to the road. I remember all that stuff.
How about you, Bob?
Never been-
Where'd you
never
like
been
playing?
in a road like that, you know?
Well, I mean, you know, I had a lot of favorites for a lot of different reasons, I think. I mean, favorites meaning things that now, all these years later, stick out in my mind. I mean, some of the obvious ones were some of the opening act things we did when we opened for Mountain. It was our first big opening act thing, farm show. I mean, that was a big deal. The Penn State Capitol Campus gig that we did, and we did like 3 of them, but the one that was real big, where there was like, you know, almost 100,000 people there, or probably not that, but 50,000 people there. That was a huge gig, and that's very memorable. As far as places that we played on a regular rotating basis, I mean, early on, the Country House was great. The Railroad House was certainly one of everybody's favorites. That was like a home
And
base.
band shell. You got to remember the band shell.
Band shell, absolutely. And of course, Jim mentioned the Lodge. I mean, the Lodge was great, man. We had fun there. And
Country House.
Country House, yeah, I mentioned that.
New England.
But the tour, I mean, you know, that had its moments.
Jack, you weren't in on that, were you?
Yeah, that was all before my time.
That was Monty and Rick.
John Resnick.
No, Rick Carberly.
Oh, Rick Carberly. That's
Yeah.
right.
Resnick
Resnick couldn't go. Resnick wanted to go.
He was really early on, and yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Do you guys remember doing the bally in front of the tent?
Oh,
Oh,
God.
hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Then you had to carry all that stuff in about 5 minutes and reset it up.
It was
then-
crazy. That was
I think-
crazy.
Joe,
And
I
as soon as-
think we were doing 11 shows a day, and I lost my
Hey.
voice like third day in, and Monty had to sing for me.
I remember
As soon
that.
as we went out to Bally, the strippers came out, and the guesser would be right in front of the stage.
Yep.
Oh, Bob the Guesser.
Bob the Guesser.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He was
Do you
good.
remember him saying that we were straight from Coble Hall?
that's it. Oh yeah,
That was one of his things. Yep.
stars of stage and screen.
You've seen him on Mike Douglas. You've seen him on Merv Griffin.
And I'm
Oh
thinking,
man,
"Oh, where the hell's that?"
I remember the meetings we used to have with him, and he would say, "You have to make it believable. You gotta believe this. You gotta be like rock stars." It's like, man. Oh,
And then doing the video for a TV station playing White Man, Black Man on the
the
Himalaya.
ride.
Yeah.
yeah, right on the ride. I would love to have a videotape of that.
Oh, you know what? I tried contacting the TV stations up there, and I can't. Nobody ever calls me back. So
Yeah, I'm sure that's long gone.
it was on film.
Turned into dust.
Oh,
The
man.
Skowhegan Channel 57.
You even
Really?
know that.
Seriously?
No, but it was Skowhegan. That's where we were.
What
No,
was
but I
that?
thought they did it in Union.
Oh, they do it in Union?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember. I was gonna, if I knew this was going on, if I had gotten that text earlier and been prepared, I was gonna pull my my box out that has all this memorabilia and open up. I've got the actual appointment books, and I could go through dates, man, and then we'd really have some memories to talk about. We'll have to do it again. Now here's a good one. Somebody just contacted me on Facebook just the other day, and I really don't even know this guy. He's a friend, but I don't even know who he is. But he said, "Hey, you got to check out this thread of comments. Well, a bunch of people I know from Pennsylvania," and he directed me to it, and I went, and it was some girl who had put up a thing, put up Uriah Heep's "Sweet Lorraine," and said, "Anybody remember the band Shanghai, who used to play at St. Joseph's in Dallastown? And they used to be all glammed out and wear high-heeled shoes, and they used to play this song." And so I went on and said, "Yeah, I remember it. I was in it." And we ended up being this long thread of comments, and it was this whole slew of people that were friends. They were kids then, and they were friends, and they used to go to those St. Joe's dances every weekend.
Wow.
And we apparently were their favorite band back then. There was a bunch of really wonderful compliments.
They were a great crowd. We always had fun there.
St. Joe's was another good one, yeah.
that was the church.
Yeah, right. In the church
Right.
social hall. Because they were talking about how weird it was to have to like walk past all these nuns and priests to go downstairs into the basement to go to like a rock concert, and what a weird juxtaposition that was.
Did somebody have issues about the songs that we were playing and we could play or couldn't play at that place?
I don't remember it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Did we play Black Sabbath at a Catholic high school assembly? Where all the boys were on one side, the girls sat on the other side. There were nuns going down the middle aisle. I had my top hat on and the cape, and we played, I think, War Pigs or something like that.
Why not?
And it was seventh period at a Catholic freaking high school. I was like, I can't believe that these high schools would actually pay money to have a rock band come in and play that's nothing that ever happened now.
Yeah.
That was new back then.
Yes.
We were one of the first bands that ever did that kind of thing. We did it at our school, at East, CD East, and then we got called to do one at CD. So I remember Joe and I getting out of like last period to go over to CD to do the thing in the.
We played a first period assembly at Lebanon High School because that's when Ed Waldick was with the band.
Wow, I don't even remember that, but I believe it.
I don't remember that.
We did 2 gigs that day
Yes,
because then we
2
went down,
assemblies.
yeah, we went down to Green Pencil.
Is that after I left the band?
Mm,
Because
might have been.
I don't remember Ed Waldick being involved with the band when I was in it.
Yep.
no,
Yeah,
really, I thought he was there for part of the time that you were in the band. Maybe not.
Don't know. So how long was Dean in the band until you guys broke up?
Yeah, to the end.
Yeah.
What year was the final gig?
Hang on, I'll tell you the exact date.
Time's up.
We played our last show on July 16th, 1974.
Wow. July 16th, 1974.
Yeah, July 16th, 1974.
Wow. Wow. I left town in 74, so. Huh. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think Dean wasn't with us real long. I think it was probably less than a year. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Something around there, a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
down in Florida now.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know he moved.
Yeah, he's down there somewhere. He was saying he was homeless, and I'm going, well, what happened to you? And he said, no, I just don't have a place right now. We're staying with friends. So where was Jack? Where was that second gig on that same day? Do you remember?
Greencastle High School, I think.
Wow.
Wow.
I'll tell you this little story. We played at a college down below Gettysburg. I forget what the name of it is, but I ended up, there was a guy there, went to that college. I ended up marrying his sister.
Shippensburg, maybe.
No, it's a, I wish I could remember what it was, but yeah, he remembers our band playing in, it was like this big eating hall or something, big cafeteria, this college. So small world.
So what's everybody doing now? Jim, what are you doing? What are you doing these days?
I'm a landscape architect. I used to own a business for 22 years. I sold it this winter, and now I work for him.
Wow. Don't you do something similar, Joe?
I drive a bus in Ocean City. I do it in the summertime mostly, just for extra bucks. But,
Oh.
Other than that, I'm collecting Social Security, and my wife has pensions, and we're doing all right. That's just kind of my kicking money.
Right. Okay. And Wally, you're retired, right?
I retired after 43 years at the hospital, and I started driving for Uber just to see what it would be like, and it was extremely interesting, let me tell you.
I bet you.
But then, that was at the beginning when Uber came out, and I had to quit because it just became too competitive. They started advertising for drivers, and I was driving during the daytime, and getting a lot of gigs, and all of a sudden you'd turn your phone on, you'd wait for hours before it would go off. So I said, well, this isn't worth it. So stop doing that. So now I'm sitting at home.
Wow. What are you doing these days, Jack?
Well, I'm still working in the electrical distribution business. So I'm a control specialist. That's what they technically call me, I guess. But I've been there 38 years and planning to leave next year. I'll be 65 in January, so I'm planning to head out next year. So going to move south.
You're young, and he's young.
He's young.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll move down by where Meacham's living. So
Well,
So
I
I
think we should do this again and maybe get Bill Meacham involved and maybe a couple other people. But I think there's a lot of stories still yet to be told.
Oh, you kidding? It's endless.
Dude, this was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, I got a question.
you're right. Hey, I have to say, all these son of bitches look old.
Can you hear me, Bob?
Yeah. What'd you say again? Jack was talking to.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if if you guys ever wanted to do a reunion, this is how we would do it.
Well,
Did you ever think of like a click track, some kind of like simple song that we all know, and just throw it together and let you edit it and see what happens, and put it on a screen with like they do on YouTube.
absolutely. If everybody had a recording platform to do it with, that'd be great. I have.
Well, this is it. I mean, I would just record it right into the phone. I mean, this phone's sitting on my guitar amp right now. I just turn it on and you'd hear it.
Okay.
I mean, and you would have to enhance it somehow to make it sound good.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it would be way better if you guys actually had a, even something simple like GarageBand or something to actually record where it would be a little better. But hey, I'm up for anything.
I've got GarageBand.
I've been saying for years, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm the only one of us that's actually still playing, on a regular basis, still actually playing for real. But I've been saying anytime we could get together, it's fun to get together and talk and shoot shit and reminisce over the old days. But man, if we picked up our instruments and actually played some of them old tunes, oh man, that would be fucking great. I mean, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. But I'd be up for something with you guys if you want to do, I really enjoy listening to the Grand Funk songs. I think they're simple. I think they're very simple.
I'd go for Grand Funk.
Yeah, that'd be great. Pick one and go. I've got a recording platform. I have Logic here in my computer, but I can't cut live drums here. But I have an electronic kit behind me. It's a little in the dark actually here. But I've got an electronic kit that it's not as good as playing live drums, but I have it here for practice purposes since I can't play real drums in my house.
Yeah, I watched somebody doing it the other day on this platform, and they just had like a blanket over their drum kit.
Right.
So it muted everything, and it didn't sound bad. I mean, it could have been better, but it was okay. It was listenable.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have to give that some thought.
All right.
What
Cool.
Grand Funk song should I be looking to learn?
I don't know. Well,
I'd have to go back and look at titles to remember. I can't think of anything offhand.
Let's start here. Wally would have to be able to sing it.
Yeah, well, that's always been the case.
All right, so Wally, you look for something that you feel good about. And
I would say Wally picked a song.
yeah, good
All
idea.
right. I'll let everybody know. I'll look
Good
through
idea.
them. So,
I saw Frank like early 90s because I played in a band with him, Buster Brown.
yeah.
It was like 88, 87, 89, something like that. With Brad Bell and a couple of horn players. Yeah, that was late.
He is a hoot. He is a hoot.
What a lunatic.
Well, let's schedule up another meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll send.
Figure out maybe once a month.
Whatever.
All right.
Whatever you guys want to do, man. I'm way up to that.
Send me a
More
text.
We could do more during the pandemic.
Yeah, I have a Jackson 5-string bass I still play.
Cool.
Nice.
And
Yeah, and Joe,
I've got it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I've got an amp here and I've got GarageBand.
All right. I was really happy the other day when you were talking about playing something, Joe, because last time we had a conversation about it, which a couple of years ago, you said, nah, I've got no interest. I haven't picked up a guitar in years. I'm done. I'm not playing.
There was a
guitar.
10-year time period when I did. It was parked in the closet. But just recently, I got everything out, and I was going to sell the guitar, and I kept looking at it, and I kept looking at it. I thought, this is a really nice guitar. I looked it up on Reverb. It's worth about $6,000. It's an 86 PRS.
Oh, man.
You know, a 24 special. It's a nice guitar. So I sold all my old pedals and got all the. I'm looking at this 24-inch pedal board here, just covered in pedals. So I could make a lot of different sounds here with what I got. It wouldn't be. By the time it got through the phone, it wouldn't sound good, but Bob could enhance it somehow.
Oh, man, that would be great. And, you know, PRS, it's funny. The band that I have now, that I've been in since like 96.
It's an excellent band.
With my partner. Yeah, Greg. Yeah, Wally came down and saw us. My partner, Andy, he grew up in Baltimore. And he's best friends with Paul Reed Smith.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Paul was a neighbor of his. And when he first started building guitars, he was doing it in his mom's garage, in a shed behind their house. And his very first actual PRS, he built in his garage and gave to my partner, Andy. Andy still has that prototype. And that sucker is worth a lot of money. He still plays it on tracks. That's beautiful, Joe.
Nice.
Is it black or purple? I can't tell.
Blue.
It's a
Blue.
dark blue. You can see the grain in it, though. It's called. Some people would call it tiger blue, but
That's nice.
Yeah.
at the time
That's
this
really
was made, this was one of the first blue guitars they did because they were only doing green at the time. And Brian Forsyth of Kicks had a deal with Paul Reed Smith where he would use their guitars if you know, he would make them. He would use them as promotionals.
Right.
Anyway, I had a 59 Les Paul Special. The
Nice.
old cream color ones, it's like Keith Richards uses.
Mhm.
And Brian wanted that guitar so bad that he had this made for me, and we traded.
Nice. Oh, that's great.
Even
I'm-
Steven, I didn't pay a cent for it.
I'm just glad to hear you're playing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into it slow but sure.
That means some kind of a real reunion performance has got to be coming somewhere around the corner. Some point we got to all get back together in Harrisburg and play some music. That would be a blast.
Yeah.
Even if
The
it's only-
logistics of it are pretty rough to do, but I would love to do
Oh.
this first to see how it sounds.
because you remember Don Intrieri, guitar player from Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Well, Don's got I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's got a rental company now where he rents gear for large shows. So he's got a whole warehouse full of gear.
Well, he
And,
services keyboards, doesn't he?
what's that?
He's a keyboard specialist.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, he was a guitar player for years, and now he's got this rental company, and they rent PAs and lights and backline gear, drums, amps, everything for major concerts in the area. So he's got gear. He's got PA gear, and he's got a big warehouse. So if we came into town, I could probably work out a deal with him where he would have the basic backline gear. We wouldn't have to all bring a lot of shit, and probably get like an hour or two rehearsal in at his warehouse before the date, wherever we would set it up to play or get together. So everybody would just have to like do their homework. We'd pick a bunch of tunes, pick 10, 12 songs. Everybody learn your parts. We get together and then have a quick rehearsal and go over them all. As long as everybody came in prepared, having done their homework, it'd be pretty smooth.
I think we have to go to band camp.
Well, whatever. But it would be fun. It would be a blast. I would love it.
You could probably get a nice set donated for the day or two from Dale Rote. So,
Yeah.
or not Dale Rote, but Dale Wise.
Right.
absolutely. I could bring drums. That's not a big problem. But like a PA and stuff like that, we'd have to, hook that up. And I think, Don might be able to hook us up with that. And if not him, he might know somebody else who could. So it's not unfathomable. I mean, we could
Or
do
we
it.
could just be a YouTube band that do this, perfect this somehow.
Yeah.
And it could be done.
Well, that's a good starting point. I'm up for
Yeah,
that.
let's
Get
do
a
that.
start there and see where it goes.
So Wally, you pick a Grand Funk tune, and we'll all somehow put our parts together.
Okay, so looking at the calendar, a week from today is the 3rd. God, this month is almost over. Or 2 weeks would be the 10th. Which would be best for you guys? You want to wait 2 weeks and meet again?
2 sounds good.
Yeah, that's good.
Dude,
Okay,
Sure.
on the 10th, and then I'll send you a text message and let you know.
Yeah.
And
great.
Jack, if you could get Meacham set up on FaceTime and the two of you talk and work out how this thing connects and everything, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah, well, I can get him to download Zoom to his phone, I'm sure. So
Yeah, okay. All right.
And the way to record the tune, I think, the easiest way, since we don't really have a studio we're all going to go into, would be I'll cut the first thing because it's putting the drums down. At least then there'll be a groove there. So we'll pick a tune. I'll get the real recording, the Grand Funk recording of that tune, and put that down on a track as a reference point, and then I'll play along to that, and then I'll somehow email or whatever send that to either Joe or Jim or both of you, and then you guys play your tracks against what I did, and then send me back your tracks, and then I'll assemble them all here. And the key thing, if we're going to make it like this, like video as well, is then have your phone videotape you while you're recording.
That's
So-
the part I don't know how to do.
Yeah, well,
You guys can do that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out either yet. But if you know what, Joe, Jim says he's got GarageBand. So if you can download it, because I think it's a free download, GarageBand or any other platform that you can get.
You have to have Apple.
Okay, well, but there's a ton
I don't think so.
there's different ones, and actually, Wally, you might be right. You might not have to have.
No, I think it's compatible to both. You just have to download the right one.
But my point is that if you cut your guitar track on something that you can make a good MP3 out of, and video your tape while you're doing it, then that would be two things you're sending me: the video, and then the audio separate as like an MP3 or a WAV file or an AIF file, any kind of audio file like that. That would be optimal. But whatever you can do, technically, you can do it. But I'll start out, once Wally picks a tune, I'll start it off so the drums are there as a basis, and there's a count off and everything at the beginning so that you guys have something to play to.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
All right, guys, we'll be in touch. Thanks for stopping in. It's great to see everybody.
So good to see you guys. Jim, especially
And
you, man.
you know what? 2 facts here.
good seeing you.
We're still alive is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one that has reproduced.
Are you
Nice.
really? Hey, you are, aren't you?
Ugh.
Yeah.
No,
He's
you're
got-
the only one that reproduced
That I know of.
that
right?
we don't know about.
Yeah, I was on the road a long time, man. Not just with this band, but then bands after that. I was on the road a long time. There's too many stories and too many possibilities. I'm not
Did you
doing
ever
any.
kind of like live in fear of that one day somebody's going to come up to you and say, "Guess
Hi,
who
Dad."
your son is?"
And they
Yeah.
look just like you.
I'm not doing any of those DNA tests. No. A real good friend of mine just did that. A sax player who I played with for a while down here. He just did that. They did the DNA testing thing just to check your family roots and stuff, and he found a kid that he was father of who was living in New Orleans, and they reunited and everything. It was a kid that the woman never got in touch with him. He was never aware of it. This goes back to mid-70s, and he was
Yeah,
never
buddy.
aware of it. So he's got this grown kid that he just met.
I've got 1,400 relatives and Ancestry.com just because I did DNA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Oh, well. All right, guys. We'll see y'all later.
Great. to see
Bye.
you guys.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Mm.